Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's review, we're going to be taking a look at Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Now, this review is probably the last review on all of YouTube, but still, I really like to take my time and play the games as much as possible before doing my review. In this case, I do have the Platinum Trophy. I also actually went beyond the Platinum Trophy and did like proper 100% the game. I played for about almost 100 hours. And I think I'm ready to give out my genuinely honest opinion on this game. So Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is a bit different than most of the recent Dragon Ball games. This one is, apart from a fighting game, obviously, it is a fully fledged JRPG. There's no multiplayer elements, it is just a pure single player RPG. And it's kind of a really cool, I didn't really think that Dragon Ball and this type of game would mix as well as it did. Like, I was expecting something okay, but it was actually generally a really good experience in general, and they did a great job mixing them together. So this game goes all the way from the start of Dragon Ball Z all the way to the end. So if you watch the anime or the show, you should know basically what's going on and how long's left and all that stuff. Now, if you haven't watched it, it doesn't really matter. It's still going to be a great game. I've heard a lot of people say, you know, if you don't really know much about Dragon Ball Z, that you're not going to enjoy the game. I personally have watched the Dragon Ball Z anime when I was very young, and to be honest, I didn't actually quite remember like the last two sagas that well, and I still enjoyed it. Because what this game does really well is it makes you feel like you're kind of watching an anime. There are like tons and tons of hours just in cutscenes, way over 10 hours just in cutscenes. And they haven't just got the cutscenes from the anime and stuck it in the game. They literally, within the game's engine, animated all the cutscenes so it looks as much as possible like the anime, and it is really, really well done. And it kind of actually makes me want to go back and watch the anime all over again just because of how much I enjoyed it. They also included like little side quests, like, you know, if you watch Dragon Ball Z, you're probably going to remember the like little filler episode where Goku and Piccolo go and get their driver's license. That's in there. And then you can buy a car, you can free roam with the car, you can even enter like time attacks and stuff like that. It's just a really, really good experience. There's kind of like intermissions between sagas where you can choose which character you want to free roam with. There's little side quests in those intermissions. And in general, it's just a really, really complete experience. So as far as gameplay goes, like we said, it's an RPG, but obviously it's a Dragon Ball Z game, so we're going to have to talk about the fighting. Now, the fighting is very similar to a lot of the past kind of third-person, kind of over-the-shoulder Dragon Ball Z fighting games, but with the difference that this is still a JRPG, so your level is going to be very, very important. And I do like it. It's cool that you can kind of like overpower some of the enemies, or they can overpower you. You need to maybe grind a bit more to go up levels and stuff. You can like eat specific meals that will then affect your stats before combat. You can use items and stuff like that, whatnot, like any other JRPG game. But the thing I don't like about this system is that there's that typical kind of thing where if you're maybe 10 levels below the enemy, then your attacks just won't damage them. They get like an incredible boost to their defense, where your attacks just end up doing 1 damage. And it doesn't matter how well you play, you're just gonna get wrecked because it's impossible. I don't really like that. But, you know, it is a JRPG game, so they probably just wanted you to be the correct level and not get far behind. But that's one of the things I don't like. But as far as, like, apart from that, the combat is just pretty much identical to, like, if you played Budokai Tenkaichi or something like that. It's very similar to that. Now, as far as the RPG elements goes, like we said before, it's a free roam. It's not like a open world, but it is a semi-open world. You've got a world map, and then you can select an area, and each area is a pretty big kind of open world little area in its own right. In these open worlds, there's activities like time attacks, driving. You get collectibles to boost your stats, items laying around. You can like destroy enemy bases. You can hunt animals for materials. You can break rocks for materials. You can do all sorts of things, side quests, like any other RPG game. Now, it is really cool because you feel proper in the Dragon Ball Z universe. The maps have like identical kind of, or at least some of the important areas from the anime are identical in the game, which is really cool as well. The only thing I didn't like about this aspect are the side quests kind of feel a bit dull, like not story-wise, like because they kind of go into not so important things that appear in the anime in these side quests, which is kind of a nice touch because you kind of get the full experience. But gameplay-wise, it's normally just go here, pick this up and come back, or go here, fight this guy, then come back, and it kind of gets a bit boring in my opinion. The only other thing that really kind of annoyed me is when you're free roaming, there's random enemies flying around, and apart from the fact that they're really persistent and annoying, especially when you're exploring and trying to find stuff, apart from that, they're just not really many varieties of enemies. Like, sometimes they just change color and say, oh, this one's a bit stronger because it's like green or instead of red, and there is probably like 5 or 6 different type of enemies. Like, I'm talking about like within the whole game, like 40 hours of story or whatnot. It's like literally not many types of random spawn enemies. I think it would have been really cool that they would have included the dinosaurs as like proper enemies as well, at least like maybe the flying ones, whereas like you can kill the dinosaurs, but they're more of like a hunt thing where you just blast them when you're just running around and stuff. I don't really like that aspect of it. Now, obviously this is an RPG game, so it's going to have multiple skill trees and stuff like that. We've got our character skill tree where you can learn new abilities. You're also going to have to go and do special training, which are specific battles to learn new attacks, which I think is really cool. And then we've got this other kind of weird skill tree that's called the community board, where if you do all the side quests in the game, you basically get access to all these like little emblems, where each emblem is a character from the Dragon Ball Z universe. And you have to form like communities with them, and each one's got its own level in that community or specializes in something. If you put specific characters together, they'll get extra bonuses, and all these things kind of give you stat boosts within the gameplay. Now, the stat boosts, apart from a few of them, are pretty useless, but the community board in itself feels like a completely different game, and I don't know why, but I actually enjoyed it. I sat there for hours on end just trying to think of where to place each emblem just to make the most of them and see if you could get it, like max all of them out. And I was sat there for at least 4 hours just trying to figure it out, and I kind of started to just forget about the normal game and started to think that this was the game. Now, I'm not sure, I don't think most people will really be into this, but I just thought it was cool how in-depth this skill tree kind of community board thing is, where they've done a good job of making like characters speak to each other if you get a specific combo, and they really thought through all the characters that can go together. And I think it's just a really cool little touch to the game. But you know, apart from that, what we got to talk about, the graphics aren't anything too special. Like I said, the animations and that and how faithful it is to the anime is absolutely amazing, and I'm sure you absolutely love this game if you're into Dragon Ball Z. And like I said before, even if you're not into it, but as far as like the actual core graphics go, it's no different than pretty much all other cell shading anime games, which is a good thing. You know, it's definitely got that anime spirit in it with those cell shades going on, so no complaint there. Soundtrack's really cool. It's just pure kind of Dragon Ball Z style music when you're exploring in that. The voices you can put in Japanese and in English, depending on which ones you like. And yeah, the music's pure Dragon Ball Z, and definitely no complaints there either. So yeah, guys, if you're into Dragon Ball Z and you want a kind of a longish JRPG, then you should definitely check this out. And you know, even if you're not into Dragon Ball Z and you just want a JRPG, just go and check this game out. It's really good. So from me, it's going to be an 8.5 out of 10. And yeah, guys, hopefully this review was helpful. If it was, please go like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.